Okay, so we are going to be on lesson 7. Make sure you're on the right page. I don't know what page number this is because my pages don't match yours, but make sure the title is addition and subtraction of rational numbers, and then you're fine. So half of you will be working on the notes first, and then come work with me. And if you're working with me, then you'll flip to do the notes the second half of class today. Okay, so let's start with classwork, exercise 1. It says, suppose a 7th grader's birthday is today, and she is 12 years old. Important information. How old was she 3.5 years ago? Write an equation and use a number line to model your answer. So they're asking about how old she was 3.5 years ago. We have to 1, write an equation, and 2, use a number line to model. Okay, so what would this look like as an equation? Well, an equation needs numbers, an operation, and an answer. So what are my numbers? 12 and 3.5. So if she is 12 years old now, and I want to know how old she was 3.5 years ago, you have to think to yourself, okay, what operation is that? If I'm going in the past, I'm going back in time. Is that addition, subtraction, multiplication, or addition, or division? Okay. If you said subtraction, you're right. We can write it 12, take away 3.5 years. Or, right, since we've been practicing writing subtraction statements as addition statements, we can also write it how? Try to write it using addition and negative numbers instead. I'll give you a couple seconds to pause the video, write down your answer here, make this an addition statement where it would be equivalent to this. Okay, so if you wrote 12 plus negative 3.5, you are correct. Both of these mean the same thing. We are going to use this one for the remainder of the problem, right? Put a star by it. For this to be an equation, though, we're missing an answer. We need an equal sign. And let's use our number line to find out what our answer is going to be. So on this side, I'm going to draw my number line. Okay. I'm going to put 0 right over here. Doesn't always have to be in the middle. Since I'm starting at 12, my numbers are going to increase more and more in the positive direction. And I'm not going to move that much farther to the left, so I really need more room on the right than on the left. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't need to go any farther. That's how old she is. Okay, so we're going to start at 0. Draw our arrow to 12. Okay, make sure you put an arrowhead on it. And now we're going to go ahead and add negative 3.5, right? So we're adding a negative, which is the same thing as subtracting. So on our number line, addition is in this direction, subtraction is in this direction. So we are going to head to the left from right here. How far? We're going to move 3.5 spaces to the left. Okay, starting from here, this would be 1, right? Another space would be 2, and another space would be 3. Now I need to go a half more. So just to make sure, 1, 2, 3, right? I'm right here. Half would be somewhere here. So this is where I'm going to stop. Okay, this is my answer. I have to figure out what number that is. So let's fill in the numbers on my number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8. This is 9, 10, 11. So what number is in between 8 and 9 right in the middle? Well, that's 8 and a half. Okay? And that's how you would do that problem. Okay, so that wraps up exercise 1. Let's look at example 1. It's giving us the steps on how to complete a problem like this, just with an alternative to the number line. So here we can see that we have to draw the 2 arrows. That's how we've been drawing them. And here we're going to only have to draw 1 arrow. So you can choose to either use this strategy or use this new strategy when you're drawing rational numbers on a number line. So here are the steps. So let's place the tail of the arrow on 12. Well, I have no numbers yet, so I need to do that first. You might be tempted to put 0 in the middle, right? But just like in this example, I didn't put 0 in the middle because I'm going back only 3.5 years. And I don't want to put 0 here because I'm not going to have enough lines to go up to 12. So I'm going to put 0 here, and hopefully that works out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Great, okay. So now I can follow the instructions. I got up to 20, that's more than enough. So it says place the tail of the arrow on 12. The tail is this part, not the arrowhead. Okay, so the tail on 12, going to 12. Here's where I'm going to start. Okay, part B. The length of the arrow is the absolute value of -3.5. So from the first problem we had, right, the absolute value of this will be how long I draw my arrow, which should make sense because it's telling you which direction to go based on the sign and how far to move. So the absolute value of this, anything you put in absolute value, remember, anything you put in absolute value will always come out positive. So that's going to be the length. And the next step says the direction of the arrow is to the left. How do they know that? Well, since you are adding a negative number to 12, same deal, right? Addition or positive numbers are to the right, negative numbers are to the left. So we are going to draw this arrow 3.5 spaces to the left. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. And the half, right, this would be another hole, but we want to go in between. Done. Okay. Final answer is right in here. What is that number? Directly in between 8 and 9, 8.5. Okay, so you don't have to use the 2 arrows now. This would be fine. Just make sure you put the tail and the arrowhead on your arrow and label what your answer is. Okay, you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for following along, taking down your notes. You're doing a great job. Last one that you'll have to take notes on, and then we'll be rotating to a group with me. So let's get this one out of the way. So it says, exercise 2, find the following sum using a number line diagram, -2.5 plus 5. So again, we have this strategy we can use, or just the 1 arrow. Let's use the 1 arrow. So we're going to start wherever or whatever our first number is. That's where our starting point will be. And then the second number will tell us which direction and how long to make that arrow. So where am I going to start? Okay, this is where my tail will go. at negative 2.5. So let me find negative 2.5. Oh, negative 1, negative 2. Okay, so is negative 2.5 here or here? Okay, place your dot where you think it goes. All right, so this is 1.5, negative 1.5, 2, and this would be negative 2.5 right here. Okay, so if you think of money, $2.50 is closer to $3, and this would actually be 1.5. That wouldn't make sense. Okay, so this is where we're going to start our arrowhead. So here we go. The second number tells us which direction and how long to make our arrow. So this is the positive direction. This is the negative. Our second number tells us the direction. Okay, so since it's positive or it's a plus sign, we're going to the right. And it tells us how far to move. Okay, so we're going 5 spaces to the right. Now, if I move from here to the closest whole number, that's a half. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. So from here to here, that's 1/2. So now I'm going to go from negative 2 to negative 1. That's one whole jump. So if I move to here, I have moved 1.5 so far. If I move another, that's 2.5. 3.5. 4, and that half I started with. Now, if I move another one, it'll be 5.5. But I only want to move 5 to the right. So I don't want to go all the way to 3. I want to go in between, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that half jump plus this half jump, a half plus another half, okay, will give me one whole. Okay, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one would make another one, 5. So my arrow is going to stop right here, and we have to figure out what number that is. Okay, so in between 2 and 3, that was a half jump, so it looks like that would be 2.5. The answer to negative 2.5 plus 5 would be positive 2.5. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. You are okay to shut off your Chromebooks and make your way to me. We're going to work on some problems just like this. So if this is still not clicking, don't feel bad. We're going to practice some more. And tomorrow we're going to move on to the rest of this lesson. We're going to take this one day at a time. All right? So shut down your Chromebooks, bring your math book over to me and your pencil, and let's get ready to rock.